Hello learners, welcome to this lesson. This is class 6 science. Today we are going to tackle topic food and nutrition. Food and nutrition. When you hear the word food and nutrition, what comes to your mind? Let's start with the word food. Food. It is a common thing in our daily life, but most people cannot give the meaning of the word food. What is food? When you ask some people what is food, they will tell you food is ugali, food is bread. Somebody will tell you food is carbohydrate. Someone else will tell you food is protein. Another one will tell you food is vitamin. Another one will tell you it is mineral. Someone somewhere will tell you food is oil or fat. But now, what's the specific meaning of the word food? Food is a solid or a liquid that is taken either by eating or drinking in order to provide necessary nutrients to the body. What about nutrition? When you talk of food and nutrition, what is nutrition? After taking food, there's that process which takes place. Now, when you talk of nutrition, nutrition is the process of providing the body with the right foods which will enhance growth, which will enhance development, and will enhance good health. That process of taking food so that you can get good growth, you can have good development, you can have good health, that's what we call nutrition. So nutrition is a process, which you can also say nutrition is a process of providing the necessary nutrients to the body. Remember, when taking your food, you need to take what we say balanced diet, which means your food has all the required nutrients. So nutrients, the process of taking those nutrients, that's what we call nutrition. So in class 6, when we talk of food and nutrition, we measure or we specify to what we call food preservation. When you have food, what are you supposed to do with it? There's something called preservation. Food preservation, the process of keeping or storing foods so that the foods remain in good condition for a long period of time without going bad. I may have one bag full of potatoes, let's say rich potatoes. If I don't preserve them, they may go bad. But if I preserve them, I'll use them for a longer period of time before they become bad. So when food are preserved, they do not lose their flavor. We make sure they don't lose their flavor. They don't lose the nutrients in them, and they maintain their color. That's what we call food preservation. These three things must remain the same: color, nutrients, and flavor. And when preserving food, there are factors to consider. There are factors to consider when you are preserving food. There are factors you need to consider. These factors are the things which will make your food not to go bad. And you must know these factors for you to know the best way which you are supposed to preserve a given type of food. Let's start with the first factor: environmental factors. Environmental factors here, we have things like temperature, things like moisture, things like air and light intensity. Remember, there are those kind of foods when you put them under direct sunlight, they melt or they become bad. There are those ones which you are told to keep or store in a cool, dry place. When we come to temperature, degree of coolness or hotness, there are those ones which cannot survive in hot conditions, and there are those ones which cannot be preserved in very cold conditions. The factor number 2, we have something called germs. Germs are living things or living organisms. For example, things like bacteria and fungi, which make food go bad. These ones can even lead to food poison. Another factor you need to consider is physical damage, such as breakage or smashing. And when you come to food preservation, they are put into 2 main categories: 1, traditional, and 2, modern methods. In this chapter, let us dwell on 1 only, that is traditional methods of food preservation. Modern methods of food preservation, that one will be the next one. When you come to traditional methods of food preservation, when you say traditional, these ones which were being used in the olden days, but they are still being used even now. So when you talk of traditional, it doesn't mean that we don't use them currently. We have traditional, then modern. Modern are those ones which have come today. But traditional are those ones which were with us. They were with our grandparents. They were with our great-grandparents. And they used these methods to preserve their food. So examples of traditional methods of food preservation, you have something like drying, smoking, salting, use of honey, use of ash, and use of low temperature. We are going to mention them. So the next video, let's discuss them one by one. Traditional methods of preserving food. These are methods that were used to preserve food by different communities a long time ago. These methods of preserving food depended mainly on culture. Most of these methods are still being used in preserving food today. Examples I've said: drying, like sun drying, smoking, which we will explain in the next video, salting, use of honey, use of ash, and use of low temperature. See you.